All right, let's go to Jerry in Colorado. You're on with Jenna and Matt.
Hi, Jerry.
Jenna, hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, it says here that Genesis 3:22 is evidence for God.
Well, it would be for me.
Why would it? Why would what a book says that you can't demonstrate or prove ever be considered evidence for anything to anyone?
Well, I like to use it because if Christians ask me, I will tell them, okay, if I could eat from that tree of life, I'd be convinced.
But you already are convinced, aren't you?
No.
You're not convinced?
The other thing that Genesis 3:22 points out is the paradox. And I'll ask the Christians. I grew up Catholic. I got my undergraduate degree in geology, and I started reading the Bible, and that one, it's interesting. All of the Catholic priests, they never talked about that verse. They were told, I was taught Adam and Eve was kicked out of the garden because they ate from the tree of knowledge.
Well, it's not. It's the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Of good and evil.
Yeah.
But verse 22 clearly states that lest he also eats from the tree of life.
Sure. Here,
So
let me read. Let me read verse.
They've already eaten. Yeah, please read it.
Let me read verse 22 for all the people who aren't able to follow along in their head. The Lord God said, "Since man has become like one of us." Hey, that's a curious phrase. One of us.
I'll get to that.
Yeah. Knowing good and evil, he must not reach out and take from the tree of life, eat it, and live forever. So, yeah, the Genesis story is bizarre, and I mean, fewer and fewer people are taking it literally anymore. Even a good chunk of Southern Baptist friends of mine don't take it literally. But it's incredibly problematic. Go ahead.
How can you take the previous one literally? How can you
Correct.
literally take the tree of knowledge, but not take the tree of life, and say?
Well, they don't take any of it literally.
Garden. Okay. The other thing, the paradox to me is if Jesus, and of course the Jews don't believe Jesus was one of those of us gods, but when you talk to Christians and you say, well, who are the gods that's talking about? Of course, they'll point to the Holy Trinity. So I'm like, okay, Jesus was so paranoid that he didn't want us to eat from the tree of life and live forever. So when did he change his mind and not give us the choice? If Jesus
right after they ate the tree,
God of the Old Testament,
okay, I'm having.
He didn't want us to live forever.
I'm having difficulty understanding the point here, because according to this, you were calling in to say that Genesis 3:22 is evidence for God.
Yeah, if I could see little baby.
No.
Cherubim.
No, stop.
Okay. No.
Are you saying Genesis 3:22 is evidence for God?
If I was able to eat from that tree or see those cherubim.
Holy shit. You can't do that. You don't get to look at Genesis 3:22 and say, this is evidence for God, and let me explain why. Because if I was
No, I'm not. Let me correct myself. If asked, what would prove to you that God exists? I'm not saying this is evidence for God.
So what should prove to us? What should prove to us that God exists?
Well, if you could eat from that apple
I can't.
and live forever, then you don't have to.
Hey, you know what else would prove that God exists? If God fucking showed up and proved he exists. What is the point of saying stuff like that?
I can't eat the apple. So how should that prove to me
if
that
frogs
God exists?
had wings, they wouldn't bump their ass a hopping.
Okay.
But they don't have wings. So why would you say, here's something that would be evidence for God if it would ever happen? I can list 1,000 things that would be evidence for God if they'd ever happen.
Good point. I think I was just trying to point out the paradox.
Yeah, we're not asking what would be evidence. We're asking what is evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Because I could take another caller.
The only God I truly believe in, I have to take from René Descartes. And that's
which God is that?
That's the one that's devoting all of their time and energy into deceiving us. And when somebody says, look at the tree, God exists, I'll say, well, look at the sunrise. It looks like it's rising, but it's not. That's a deception. And it's up to us to become knowledgeable, to be able to understand all of those deceptions.
So which God is it that you believe in?
The one that's deceiving us.
Which one is that?
The one that René Descartes mentioned in his...
Does it have a personification? Does it have a name? Is there any way that we can refer to it other than say the one that Descartes made up?
Why would you even believe that there was a God who's intentionally trying to deceive us?
The evidence.
What evidence is there that there's a God who's intentionally trying to deceive us?
Well, for years and years and years, decades, it was thought that people had curses.
Well, so we have evidence that we have been deceived. But what evidence do we have that any God is trying to deceive us?
Well, I can't prove that God exists.
So then why should we believe it?
That's the closest, other than mystery, which, I mean, deception and mystery, I don't know.
Do you admit that you possibly could have been deceived?
Of course.
Okay, thanks. Do you have any evidence to show that you should not have been deceived, and any evidence to show that this God exists?
None.
Then why believe it? How many other things do you believe without any evidence for them?
I believe in mystery and I believe in paradox.
What does that mean?
And when
do you believe that they exist?
I got $1 says he doesn't know.
Well, my favorite paradox is Pinocchio. What happens if he says his nose is about to grow?
Wait, so do you believe that Pinocchio exists?
I'm talking about the definition of a paradox.
I'm asking if you believe that Pinocchio exists.
No. But
okay, so why do you believe that a God exists?
If he says, I believe in paradox.
Okay.
And
so
I believe in stories, but I don't, okay.
You said you believed in a God that was actively trying to deceive us, and then when we pushed, you said you believe in paradox. Well, congratulations. I can give examples of paradoxes too. This sentence is false. There you go. Paradox. What the hell does that have to do with a God or any being trying to deceive us?
Well, if you read most of the literature, for example, the first line of the Old Testament.
Are you saying that the Old Testament is evidence for God, not Genesis?
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, you can't be in something that hasn't begun, and the earth is in the heavens, so that says too much.
So why should we believe anything that the Bible says?
We shouldn't.
So then why are you talking about it at all as evidence? If you're not supposed to believe it, how is it evidence?
It's not all deception, but
well, you didn't call in and reference Harry Potter and a potential paradox with the time turner.
Yeah, I'm not a big Harry Potter.
Why not?
It's way better than the Bible.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
The
only point we were trying to make is that, if you say you believe in a God that is actively trying to deceive us and you don't have any evidence for that, maybe you shouldn't believe that either. Maybe you should stop believing things for which you don't have good reasons.
Well, I try to educate and learn and study so that I can.
What are you studying?
Understand. Well, my undergrad was in geology.
So what are you studying to find out about God, though?
Well, I love your show, obviously.
You're watching our show to learn about God?
No.
So then what are you studying to educate you about God?
Well, I've read Hitchens. I've read
You're giving me
Justice Campbell,
atheist references. Do you believe in God?
Not. I don't believe in any other people's religions.
Do you believe in a God at all? Any kind of supernatural being that has any kind of control over anything in the universe?
Well, you're saying supernatural and
external to the on planet Earth.
I believe in mystery. I believe in paradox. I believe that God is the ultimate mystery that transcends human thought, and anyone or any religion that tries to write words that describes what cannot be thought is missing at 3 levels.
So then why believe any of it? If you can't get any information about it and you can't learn about it and you can't study it, why believe in it? Because you're admitting that whatever God you do believe in is deceiving you. So then why believe anything that this God is trying to convince you of if you're admitting that you're probably being deceived? Do you want to be deceived? Is that a goal?
That's why I'm a scientist.
So why are you a theist?
Because atheism has a really bad stigma, and I can believe.
Wait. You're saying that you're not an atheist simply because it has bad stigma?
Well, if I believe in an ultimate...
Are you saying that?
Yes, I believe in an ultimate mystery.
So what kind of logic are you using?
I'm trying to, what's that? So you're not an atheist because there's stigma associated with the label?
Well, it depends on who's... So
you're an atheist depending on who you're talking to?
Well, can you be an atheist and believe in a God?
No. Using the definition of atheism, which is we do not accept the claim that there is any kind of God.
Can I not believe in any other people's theism?
No.
If I don't believe in any other person's religion.
Right.
No, now you're talking about something else because there are non-theistic religious beliefs, and so religions are packages of beliefs. You either believe in a God or you don't. If you're an atheist, you don't. So you can't be an atheist and believe in a God.
Sometimes,
just like
not
you
others.
can't be a fucking bachelor and be married.
So if I don't accept anyone else's religions,
that's
it's about a belief in a God. Do you believe in a God?
Atheism isn't the negation of theology.
Correct.
It's a God.
No. Theism is the label you put on people who believe in a God. Atheism is a label for those who don't believe in a God.
As defined by the theists.
As defined by the atheists, as he is an atheist saying that.
Well, you're saying that you don't accept any of the claims of the theists.
No, that's
we
not.
Don't expect...
No. That is definitely not what the fuck I've said. Theists can claim all kinds of things that I do believe. Like theists can claim that charitable works are good, and I would agree with them.
No. I agree. I didn't mean to be so broad. The supernatural God claims.
Oh.
Yes, I don't believe in anything supernatural, and I do not believe in any God that any gods exist.
That's it.
So if I agree with that, but
then
I
you
still
are an
believe
atheist.
in an ultimate mystery.
What the fuck does that even mean? An ultimate mystery?
There's a lot of things that we don't know.
I would agree with you. There are plenty of things we don't know, and there are things that are mysterious.
Yep.
What does that have to do with a God?
And science is uncovering more and more. And
so what does that have to do with a God, though? Where is your connection to a God? I really want to understand.
Well, if theists can claim an ultimate power or an ultimate, I don't know, pick your religion, I'm just saying, if we're able to uncover all the mysteries, then we will be God.
But we can't, and we haven't yet.
And if a frog had wings, we're back to 10 minutes ago.
So the ultimate mystery
is a mystery. That's all we know.
I don't agree that there is an ultimate mystery.
Well, there's things that we don't know, so I'm willing to accept that.
Why is there something rather than nothing? That would probably be as close to an ultimate mystery as I could come up with.
Right.
And my answer is, I don't know. And the people who are claiming that they do know don't seem to be able to demonstrate their case. So I don't believe them.
No, I agree.
Cool.
Any specific mystery. Yeah.
So do you believe in any kind of God other than an ultimate mystery? Do you believe that there's any kind of God that interferes or that talks to people? Or, I mean, do you believe in anything like that?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Now, why would you redefine mystery so that it is labeled God when we could just call it a mystery? Because as soon as you say, I believe in mystery as a God, now you are attempting to solve that mystery with something you can't demonstrate. So why not just say, I believe there are things that we don't know?
I believe that too.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Pretty much everybody believes that. But
it sounds like you're thinking you're on the right track. You know, you're working it out. It sounds like you kind of know in the back of your mind that this isn't really logical, right? I know it's really hard. It's really hard to say that out loud.
Paradox is illogical. I mean, we all
Jerry,
agree.
believing in mysteries and paradox is reasonable. Believing that they're a God, or using the fact that mysteries exist to bolster the notion that there's a God that's intentionally trying to deceive you, those are the parts that aren't rational.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to try and get to a couple other callers. Thanks, Jerry.
All right. No, I appreciate it, guys. Cheers.
Keep asking questions. You're on the right track.